So our feature presenter is a digital marketer and owner of Get Found Madison. He helps senior living and local businesses that struggle with finding new customers generate more leads through their website. He's spoken previously at the Fitchburg and Middleton Chamber of Commerce, Social Media Breakfast Madison, and right here at the DreamBank. One thing you might not know about our feature presenter is that he started in the nonprofit world in the Twin Cities, helping low-income students get into college. So very noble cause there. So today he's here to share how to land your local business website in the top spots on Google where most searchers look for. So give a warm business accelerator welcome to Eagan Heath.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody. Good to see friends and colleagues here in Madison, and then also everybody online. Thanks for joining. So we're talking about 6 steps to earning more leads using local SEO. I'm going to go through quite a few slides here, a lot of information. If you would like the slides, you can text Get Found, one word, to 66866. Give me your email, and I will share those with you, so you don't have to take copious notes as we're going through here. So I always like to start with why. Why does it matter to be at the top of search results? And to do that, I think, to contextualize this, and I fully understand that preaching to the converted here, you guys know why this is important, but sometimes it's helpful to have some fodder, some ammunition when you're talking to your boss about this, or your clients, or whoever you're doing this for, or even just to understand for yourself. So how many Google searches are there per day? We're at about 3.5 billion now. You can actually go to this site, Internet Live Stats. And you can see it per day, and it'll be counting up all day, and some days we're even cracking 4 billion Google searches a day. And then what percent of these are for local information? Any guesses? Folks in the audience?
80%.
80? Not quite there yet. We're at about half. This was from 2015, so it could be more now, definitely. And then this is from a Google study. Of those people that search for local information, how many set foot in store same day? What would you guess? This is for desktop. We're at about 1/3 of people who did online searches for local information set foot in store that same day. And what about from a smartphone? Yeah, it is half. And that makes sense in terms of, I've got my smartphone, I'm looking for pizza, I'm looking for a haircut, I'm looking for whatever I need where I'm at, I've got money, Google, where do I take it? I'm going to show up. And that bears out even further, how many of those people searching for mobile for local information actually purchase something that same day they search? Almost 1 in 5. And this is from a couple years ago as well. This is from a study Google did in 2014, so this could be higher now. I wouldn't be surprised. So where do searchers click? This is why we're here. This is a search. This is a Google search for pizza in Madison, Wisconsin. Well, not very surprisingly, people click at the top. This is for desktop, but we see similar click-through rates for mobile as well. So that top spot, number 1, gets about 30% of the clicks or more. Next one's under 15%. Spot number 3 gets 10%. So those top 3 combined get 2/3 of all the clicks. So that's really where you need to be when someone's searching for what you do, products or services, right? And by the time we're down to the second page, there's 10 more results on page 2, and all those 10 results combined get 4% of the clicks. So this is really the phone book now, and if we want the majority of the traffic, we really need to be at the top. No surprise there, right? So let's start with keyword research. What are people searching and where do we want to be there? For many of our organizations and our businesses, we have a pretty good idea about this. It's obvious. But sometimes there's searches you don't even think about that you want to be there for. So I want to demonstrate this real quickly. So let's say you've got some dates set. In September, you're going to go to Spain for 2 weeks. I want you to actually pull out your smartphone right now and do a search to start planning that trip. I'll do the same. All right. I did mine. Who's got one? What'd you search?
Travel to Spain.
Travel to Spain. I did flights to Spain, September. What else?
Hostels, Madrid.
Hostels in Madrid. Good. And Still working on it here. All right. It gives you a sense that, obviously that's kind of a broad open search. There could be different things you're looking for there. Could be hostels, could be flights, could be restaurants, could be hotels. But in general, people search a little differently, and everybody Googles a little differently. And certainly, as voice search is on the up, people are going to search very differently than how they do on a smartphone, just going right to Google, right? So we need to sort of brainstorm what are potential searches people are doing, and then we need to gather the data. So let's talk about the brainstorming piece first. Google helps us out. When you start typing in Google, you see this Autosuggest, right? And that Autosuggest comes from somewhere. If they're getting 3.5 billion plus searches a day, they've got a lot of related data that they can use to give you a better searching experience. But as you put yourself in the mind of your prospects, your prospective clients or customers, this can help you. So you start typing, you see what else they fill in. By the way, if you type word, 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 or word, asterisk, word, word, you get autofill ideas right in the middle. So try this at the beginning, middle, and end of your queries to get more ideas. When you scroll to the bottom, you'll get searches related to whatever you put in to Google's search field, right? So this can give you more ideas. People that search for this often search for this, like we see on Amazon and other search tools, right? And then when we've got a list, so say we're a landscaping company and we do landscaping, gardening, snow removal, lawn care, and we're serving, in this case, Madison, Middleton, Wisconsin, Dane County, we can put these together and it'll concatenate all the possibilities of them, and we get a nice long list of lawn care Madison, lawn care Middleton, lawn care Dane County, and see how often those are getting searched, right? And we can go over to Google AdWords Keyword Planner. So there's two ways to be on the first page of Google. You can pay per click with Google AdWords. That's kind of a whole other subject. My agency helps with that as well. And I think that's a perfectly viable option. It's worth trying out. Today we're talking about those unpaid clicks, the other way to get to the first page of Google, right? But we still use the Google AdWords Planner to get ideas and also because this is where the data lives. So we can plug in the names of our products and services, and Google will give us more recommendations. Here's how people search for what you do. And you may be surprised sometimes that people are searching in ways that are not necessarily how you describe your business. Marketing is all about thinking from other people's perspectives in general, and I think SEO is no exception. And the good thing about SEO is we get a little feedback, we get some data about how are other people thinking about what it is that I do. And then you can plug in your homepage, your landing page, your particular service pages will also give you ideas. Pro tip here, why not put in your competitors' pages? See what Google's recommending are good keywords for your competitors and take some of those ideas. All right? Once we've brainstormed a list, for a local business, at our agency, we try to go 1,000 plus permutations of different searches, including very long searches that might be less common. If you're doing this yourself, see if you can get over 100 possible combinations. Depends on how many products or services you have. There may not be that many, but really think through, I'm one of my prospective clients. What could I potentially be doing? What could I be searching when I'm looking for someone like me? Okay, and we gather the data. Now here's the problem. Google has the data because people are searching Google, and they've got a history of this, right? But if we're not running Google AdWords ads, again, Google doesn't want us to spend an inordinate amount of time or effort or money on SEO. They want us to just pay them for those clicks, right? So if we're not running ads, they're going to give us these totally worthless ranges. So landscaping near me gets 10,000 to 100,000 searches per month. Snow removal near me gets 1,000 to 10,000 searches per month. That's such a large range that there's no way for us to work with that. Once you start running ads, and I seem to see it around the $100 to $300 a month mark, you get the actual data. This is trailing 12 months averaged by the month, and you'll notice you get the seasonality in here as well. So this is a landscaping company. You can imagine in the winter in Madison, Wisconsin, not as many searches, right? So we can actually go by phrase and see what times of the year, what months are really the heavy months for what we do, and maybe we want to run extra AdWords then. Maybe we want to get our SEO house in order the rest of the year so that when it's time to do landscaping, we're ready to rock. But anyway, you need to pay to play to get the better data straight from Google. But I've got some good news for you. There are some tools now where you can basically get that data without paying Google, and I'm pretty excited to share them. So one of them is called Keywords Everywhere. It's a Chrome extension to use in your browser. It's free. You just have to do a little bit of setup, and then you can get that data right in your browser. I'll show you how that works. And then Ubersuggest is another one. I'll show you. So when I have the Keywords Everywhere Chrome extension all set up and working in my browser, When I start typing family law and it's auto-suggesting family lawyers, Madison, Wisconsin, I can now see this phrase over the last 12 months per month was searched 110 times on average, which is pretty good if I'm a family lawyer in Madison, Wisconsin. This is where I want to be. I want to think real hard about showing up when people search that phrase. And by the way, I can get all kinds of other phrases. Now notice family law attorney gets over 22,000 searches per month. That's for the whole country. This keywords everywhere data is showing us for the whole country. We'll talk about how to get local data in a second. Scroll down to the bottom of the Google page. You can look at these related searches, and there's more data now. So this is overlaid basically on our Google results page thanks to this free tool. And I can see that I see some specific law firm names, but I also see criminal lawyers, Madison, Wisconsin, gets 50 per month. And by the way, these other numbers, it's telling us an estimate of what it would cost per click. As you can imagine, leads for lawyers are worth a lot of money. So the clicks to the website are worth a lot of money. So if you ran a Google ad for criminal lawyers in Madison, Wisconsin, you might well pay $26 per time someone clicks on your ad. That would run up the budget pretty quick, right? You need a real marketing budget to play there. But theoretically, if we're not running Google ads and we're getting organic clicks through our SEO results, are they still worth $26 per click? What do we think?
Yes, but that's pretty.
I see a no, I see a yes. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, well, you're still gonna get the clicks.
Yeah. It's getting someone to your website who's looking for what you do either way. So this is a way to even put a dollar amount on, if we could tackle this with SEO traffic, this is how much it would be worth every time going forward, this year and into future years that we're king of the hill, right? So if you're in the marketing department, if you've got a boss, if you've got clients, this is a way to talk about the value of SEO. You have imputed value here, and this is very high for this industry. I'll keep moving. Remember that list we came up with, 100 keywords in an Excel sheet of all the ideas? We put some in merge words. We got a lot of combinations of ways people could search for what we do. We can put them right here. We go up in our Chrome browser, and we bulk upload, and it gives us that data, the search volume, the cost per click. Competition in this case is between 0 to 1, and that's actually for AdWords. Again, this is the Google AdWords data. That's what they're telling us. But it still gives us a sense. If we're getting up snow removal Madison and it's at 0.41, I'm thinking, yep, during the snowy season here, people are running Google ads. It's competitive either way, right? So those are worth something. This is for Ubersuggest. You go to neilpatel.com/Ubersuggest. And you can put in, so in this case I put in online marketing, Madison, Wisconsin, and I can filter the results that just include the word Madison in them. And I can see Madison SEO, 480 searches a month, marketing jobs Madison, 210, and so on. Web design Madison, 140 searches per month, and the clicks are not cheap, Tara, 17 bucks a click. That's not gospel. There are ways to get cheaper clicks, but that's another subject. And what about if what if people aren't putting the word Madison or our town right in their search, right? How do we get that data? If they're just saying snow removal near me, online marketing, digital marketing, if I just want to know Dane County, people searching this, then we do have to run Google ads and we do have to get that data. And I can say, show me Dane County, show me Middleton, show me Madison. And we can actually know this two-word phrase, how many people in this geography are searching it on average. Okay, we've used one of these tools. We used the Google AdWords Keyword Planner. We used Ubersuggest. We used Keywords Everywhere. And now we've got our data, and we need to select our targets. So as we look through this list, and now we know how many people a month on average were searching for these phrases, we need to go through and say, what's the volume? What's the most common search? Are they looking for paving? Are they looking for driveway paving? Are they looking for line painting? It's sort of whatever your industry is, find out what the most common phrases are. And in some cases, you'll be surprised. The whole reason we went through this is people are thinking differently about your business than you might. And now you've got some insight. And then think about the search intent as well. If they're looking for reviews for a product, that may not be the same thing as if they say buy. If I'm looking for electrical lights, buy electrical lights, that's different than electrical light reviews, right? So there's sort of different intent of where are they at in their searching process. Use some critical thinking. There's no tool that's going to tell you that, but you want to say, yep, if someone's Googling that, that's who I want to reach, that's where I want to be, right? And then there's also this other component that we look at when we do SEO assessments as an SEO agency is the difficulty. With free tools, I've not found a good way to assess this But there are paid SEO tools that can sort of tell you, here's how hard it's going to be to get on this page. All right, you've got your keywords. Some of them are related. Some of them are lawn care. Some of them are lawn mowing. We're going to sort of put those together if that's really the same thing. And we're going to realize this is backwards-facing data over the last year. If you go to trends.google.com, you can actually see, hey, this search is on the uptick. We work with senior living companies as well as local businesses, and we found assisted living, that phrase, searched in Wisconsin used to be 1,600 per month, and in the course of a year, that's now 1,900 searches a month for that phrase. So people are Googling more, and also people in different demographics are Googling more, right? Services are becoming more and more in needs, and that gives you a sense of overall what's going on. And then the long tail searches is, because that's backward facing, we're not even capturing this. And this is like as of right now. So of all those 3.5 billion searches per day on Google, Google has never seen 15% of them, is the best number I could find on that. I'm going to guess that this number is just going to go up and up and up as more people are searching on voice, because people are going to use natural language and they're going to have basically longer queries that are going to be less and less common. So when you're optimizing for SEO, you're working with the phrases you can find, but there are also phrases you can't even anticipate. So that's why we get the rest of our SEO in order, in the hopes that we'll show up for those that we can't even anticipate. All right, now we're going to take stock of our SEO. How often do our links appear in those search results, and how do we earn clicks, right? So in anything we're doing in marketing, I would suggest we should measure, improve, measure again, and keep doing that cyclically. Same is definitely true of digital marketing, and the good news is you get a lot more data when you do online marketing compared to offline. So the obvious test is, am I on page 1? Now the problem is, if you just go to Google and search, I'm just looking for a realtor in Madison, I've already been to my website and Google knows that, right? So they're going to put me on the top. My SEO is great, I win. Problem is, that's not what other people see. We want to see what other people see, so we're going to do incognito, we're going to do new private browser if we're in Safari, and if we're in Internet Explorer, we're just going to give up. All right? And are we on page 1? That's a manual check of at least our top phrases that are searched the most. If we have Google Analytics installed, that's free code that just runs in the background and gives you data about how people are using your site, we can see, hey, organic search is bringing the lion's share of people to our site. This is important. And also, over time, we can see here's how many visits we're getting to the site, and we can segment in Google Analytics and say, just show me organic traffic. Hey, our organic traffic is going up. This is something you can bring to your boss or your client, or yourself, if you're your own boss, in my case. So Google Search Console is the equivalent of Google Analytics is going to tell us what happens once they get to the site. Google Search Console is going to tell us organically how did they get to the site. So this is free. You don't just get this data for any website, right? I can't just look up Tara's data. Like, I have to say, I actually own this site. So similarly, you put some code on the site and verify and say, yep, this is my site. Now I get the SEO data. Let me know how people are searching for me. If you're using WordPress, which I do recommend, and you're using Yoast SEO, which we'll talk more about, it's easy to just quickly verify this. Okay, it shows you the sample of how people are finding you. What it tells you: number of clicks, number of impressions, which is people actually seeing your link, right? And then clicks divided by impressions gives you the click-through rate. And again, we said if we're at the top, number 1, we might be getting 30% click-through rate. If we're on page 2, we're lucky if we're getting 1%, right? And then position average spot on Google, on the Google result page. So let's take a look at an example. This is from a law firm's search console. So what I see right away is CCAP criminal background check, 16 clicks out of 3,500 impressions. Average position was 8 on that. And then fired before 90 days unemployment, 15 clicks out of 58 impressions, quarter click-through rate, and we're spot number 1. So that's about right. That's what we saw with those click-through rates. What's immediately surprising here to this client is that people are not looking law firm Madison, or it's not that family law Madison. It's people all over the country have specific legal questions, and they have a blog post from 5 years ago they totally forgot about, which is driving the majority of their organic traffic. We're going to talk more about blogging and why this is important. Let's look at another example. This is from a cleaning company. And what I see here is that top one is the Trabajos page. It's their Spanish jobs page. They're on spot 12.5. If we could give a better translation of our title and description, could we get more clicks to the site from that? Same with our commercial page. We're way back on page 3. There's 10 spots per page, so if we're 29, we're not doing so hot there. So we need to work on these pages and how they're showing up. So note, you can look at this by query, you can look at it by page, if that makes sense. So when we combine that free tool I talked about, Keywords Everywhere, and Google Search Console, we just get salivation-inducing amounts of SEO data, if you're an SEO. All right? So now we're going to get actual searches per month per Google AdWords. We already talked about ad cost, and it's 25 bucks a click or whatever if we're a lawyer. And then how many impressions there are, clicks, click-through rate, position, right? So this is going to be overwhelming, but prepare yourself. First of all, many of you know I have another business, and I sell custom oil paintings of pets. So it's an e-commerce business. It's not a local business, but I want to draw some examples because I can freely share the data with you. All right? So here's a picture of my dog or cat. I want to paint it as a T-Rex or into Mona Lisa. More to come about that. Here's what it looks like in Google Search Console, okay? And now, this is overwhelming. There's a lot of columns. I totally understand. What we're looking at here, so I bought this business a year ago thinking I'm gonna do the digital marketing. I'm gonna sell more pet paintings than the old owner, right? And right away I said, oh boy, pet portraits, here's the good news. Good news is, in the United States of America, there are 3,600 Google searches per month for pet portraits. That's great, I now sell pet portraits. Here's the bad news. I'm on spot 11.8 on average. What page is that? So what's my click-through rate? Looks like it's 2.91%, which is pretty good for that page, actually. But I'm getting 206 impressions, but there are 3,600 searches. Would I get more impressions if I hop to page 1? And would I get more clicks if I climbed up on page 1? So this is how you set your strategy. It can be similar for a local business, but you want to look in here and say, what opportunities am I missing? Which ones have high search but poor positioning? That's where I want to go, right? All right, it's time to optimize our website. So we're going to make it clear to search engines what our pages are about, and we're going to make sure Google likes our pages. Make sense? Now, I partner with many website companies, and they build beautiful websites. And sometimes a year or two later, they bring their clients to me, and their clients say, hey, we're not on page 1 of Google, what gives? We paid you all this money. And they're like, hey, that's not our department, sorry. But we have this beautiful website, right? Which is awesome. Like, you want a beautiful website. This is a differentiator. It's a big deal, right? But it's not the only deal. And then, so the first thing I take a look at is the front door. And the front door looks like this. So the inside looks like this. Front door looks like this. That's a problem. And what I mean, so this was one of the web design companies in town here that wanted to partner with me, and they had business name, businessname.com, no description available. And I said, sorry, I don't think we can work together. You got to get your own house in order here, right? Let me give you a better example. So this is what I'm talking about when I say the front door. This is your title and your description. No one's going to see your gorgeous website unless they click here, at least organically. True? Agreed? Okay. So if I search for plumbers in Madison, Wisconsin, here's some better examples. So Capital Plumbing Company, they say plumbers, Madison, WI. It looks like they did some keyword research and they applied it, just like we're going to do, right? Now, could it be better? They've got a ... It's a little long. They've got no space in there. So it could be better, but hey, they're doing all right. This one, so they say plumber, Four Lakes Plumbing, Madison, Wisconsin. That looks good. Nice and simple. I know what they do. Notice in the description, if I search for plumbing or plumber, that's bolded in the description, right? So that's something to think about is, if I were to run a Google ad and pay, it really varies what you'd pay. I'd say plan on at least $1 a click. If it's a competitive industry, it's $5, $10, or more dollars per click, right? If you were running that ad, you would think long and hard about what the ad said, right? But these are free ads, and it seems like nobody's thinking about these. Just saying. So think hard about your titles and optimize them. Optimize them for search engines, but optimize them for humans too, right? Because people are actually going to be the ones seeing this on their mobile phone, on their desktop. So if we're on WordPress, which again I recommend, we can easily change this setting. We go into Yoast, which is a free plugin, and I can say, here's what I want my title to be for this page. This is the home page. Here's my description, right? Oh, and by the way, since I did my keyword research and I found out this many people a month search for Madison SEO, that's what I want to optimize for. Hey, Yoast, tell me what I need to do. And Yoast goes, dude, you don't have enough text on this page. We need at least 300 words. You don't actually have that exact phrase, Madison SEO, in the title. The keyword's not in the first paragraph. You've got a meta description, but it doesn't even have it in there, so it's not going to show in bold. And a very interesting one is you've plugged in this same focus keyword for a different page. Which page is it? I'm your SEO helper in WordPress, and I don't know. What's Google going to think? So once you've got your map of all your keywords, we've got lawn care, we've got snow removal, etc. We do gardening. We need pages for each of those that are targeting those. This is often a shocker because I have to then tell that client who came to me and I have to say, when you made your website, you have a whole page about how you've been in business since 1888, but you don't have a page for your gardening services. And that's what people are looking for. Your website should be built based on what people are looking for, not what you want to throw at them. So that's what's going on here. Again, amazing free tools right here. This is all you need. You can do this for free. Google Search Console to see what people are searching to get to you. Keywords everywhere to get free data. Ubersuggest to get free data in Yoast SEO plugin to tell me what the heck to do with that data. Make sense? Questions so far? All right. Feel free to interject with questions. I'm going to keep going. So, if we're a local business, that homepage is just crucial because that's going to be the one that's going to show the most, right? So we really want to think about the title and the description and more settings, which we'll talk about, for your homepage, okay? If you have multiple products and multiple services, each one gets a page. Thou shalt not have a service page with all your services slapped on them somewhere. Stop doing that. If you do lawn care, you got a lawn care page. If you do snow removal, you got a snow removal page. Make sense? And then once you have those pages, they need to be easily accessible one click from the home page. We'll talk more about why when we get to the links, okay? But make it easy to get from the home page, which has the most SEO authority and is going to show on Google the most for a local business, get from the home page to any page that you want to rank on Google. And yep, each page itself should have a phrase or set of related phrases that you're targeting with it. You should have clean URLs with real words, keywords, and hyphens. I'll show an example in a second. We're not going to use little words in our hyphens like the, as. We're going to keep it short and sweet, and we really don't need dates on our blog posts. That's subject to debate. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah.
I don't think you need dates. So here's a blog post I did, which you guys already know now how to do keyword research, but I'm describing everything I said here of keyword research. The first step for every page on your website, yet the URL is not getfoundmadison.com/keyword research, the first step for every page on your website, which might be what WordPress or Squarespace or Wix wanted me to do. I need to change that. And again, it's easy in WordPress to change your URL, so that's one more reason to use it. So anyway, it's keyword hyphen research. That's it. Keep it simple. All right? Images. Let's talk about images. This is a big opportunity for most websites. So you need to rename those image files. You snapped them on your smartphone. You hired someone like Beth to take pictures for your business, right, because you wanted professional-looking ones. But you don't just slap the file in there because it's called IMG0697. And Google doesn't know what that's an image of. That could be subject to debate. But if you think of when you upload a Facebook picture, it can auto-tag people, right? Pretty crazy. But as far as I know, Google doesn't know this is a picture of the outside of my business, right? So you got to tell it. And then it's going to be a huge file if it's coming off your smartphone or your digital camera. And we need it to not be so huge, okay? So we're going to shrink it down, and it can be well under 1 meg. And we're going to compress it, which just means make it smaller, but keep it the same size and dimensions, right? So in WordPress, there's WP Smush I like. It'll just automatically do it. If you're using something else, you can just use compressor.io. You upload your image, and it looks the same to you, but it's a smaller file. Okay, notice when I've got all these images for a senior living company now, none of them are IMG06478. They all describe what the company is, what it is. It's assisted living in Cross Plains, Wisconsin. Oh, and by the way, this is an apartment bedroom. I'm still describing what the image is, so Google knows what it is, but I'm also throwing in a little keyword there, right? And you get one more crack at it. You get to describe it with what's called an alt attribute and say, this is what this is a picture of. By the way, when people are using special browsers, people with disabilities or even just visual impairments are using a special browser where they can't see the image, their browser tells them this is an image of what. And if you're not doing this, you're not really being compliant, you're not really being accessible to those people. Sorry, Olivia.
That happens in the, it's not the caption, right? Or is it the description? Where do you put that?
Thank you for asking that. This is called the alt. Let me show you in WordPress because it'll make more sense. So it's called the alt text. Most website platforms will let you alter this. There's ways to do it with just straight code too. But in WordPress, you should describe it here. So in the case of Splendid Beast, we've got 3 dogs painted into Star Wars. Notice the file name itself before I even uploaded it into WordPress was 3 Star Wars dogs separated with hyphens, accurately describing what it is. The title is Star Wars Dogs Oil Painting with hyphens. You may or may not need hyphens there, I just did. And then the alt text is the one I'm talking about, where you're telling special browsers, and also, by the way, Google and Bing and other search engines, this is what this is an image of. So you're helping them out, you're helping everybody out, and you're helping yourself out. So take a second to do this. By the way, when I'm in Keywords Everywhere, and I Google for Star Wars dogs, how many searches a month does that get? 1,300 searches a month. You had no idea, did you? There's all kinds of things that come up, but you better bet I'm gunning to be there. All right. All right, let's talk text for just a second. So we're going to use our keywords in our headers. You don't need to read this. I'm just showing, here's a big old long blog, and I've got the header at the top, right? And I'm using things like site architecture and search engine success factors right in the header. I'm answering questions that people might be asking. You can go deeper and deeper the more you blog, right? And we've got, so there's different headers. The big one is the H1 header. And then we've got subheaders down here. This is maybe H2, H2, H2. You should have one H1 header, and you should break up your text with lots of subheaders, okay? And in those subheaders, you really describe what you're talking about. Have you ever done a search on Google and it gives you the answer right on the result page? It's called position 0. And one way to get there, and those what's called those feature snippets also, is you clearly structure your site so that you're obviously answering questions. There have been a number of SEO studies about it's worth being in position 0. If you're looking up a recipe or something, oftentimes it gives you the little snippet, but you need to click to get to the rest of the recipe, right? So structure your data clearly for Google, and you'll be rewarded. That's kind of the idea here. And then the body text itself. Use keywords and synonyms. You don't have to use that same keyword. Like, there's no tension between I'm writing for a person and I'm writing for Google, okay? It should still read normally. It should be valuable to people that read it, and you can mix it up and use normal language. Google understands that now, okay? But you should still use that phrase right in the first sentence and right in the paragraph. I just said don't stuff, and then we should write long content. This is good news for Olivia and maybe a couple other people in the room who are writers. Greg too, right? So out of a study of, this was out of 1 million search results, I believe, the correlation was spots 1 and 2 on Google had 1950 to 2,000 words. That's like an assignment from your English teacher. That is so long. We are mostly local businesses here, right? So we don't need to write this long, but we should still think about this and say, all else equal, let's write more than our competitors. Agreed? Shoot for 300 to 500 words per page. Give yourself a couple paragraphs, certainly on your homepage, certainly on your service pages, and when you're blogging, crack 2,000. It's my personal advice. Yeah. Internal links. So internal links are helpful because I'm reading a blog. This is on Neil Patel's blog, and I see SEO and PPC, and I click that, and it takes me to a page about SEO and PPC, right? Guess what? Google is mapping the web all the time. It's almost like it's going through and clicking every link and mapping out the World Wide Web, right? So one of the ways it gets information is this page over here must be about SEO and PPC, pay-per-click, because someone in the link told me. In Google now, we know from patents and some other information, they also look at this text surrounding the link. So the most valuable links, we're going to get to links, are contextual like this. Question? We're good? Okay. Yep, right from the horse's mouth, Google says, it helps us understand the content of your site when you're linking from your pages. Who's read a physical newspaper in their lives? Okay. When you're on that first page and it says, I'm reading the top story and it says jump to A10, your homepage needs to be like that. So if you've got snow removal services, you've got lawn care, you've got pizza, whatever it is, that homepage gives me a little taste, and then I got to jump to A10, which is actually your service page for that, okay? A few technical considerations in here. Your pages should load quickly. That should not be surprising. Have you ever tried to load something on your phone, it didn't come up, and you just hit back? Particularly an article, something shared on Facebook or something. We expect things to load quickly, so they need to, and yours does too. It should be absolutely fantastic on mobile, no surprise there. And starting in July, it better be secure. We'll talk about that. If you ever move pages, they should be redirected. When Google's going click, 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 they don't want to find dead ends. If they find too many dead ends, they stop and they don't even crawl your site anymore. It goes like this. Google's going to crawl the web. Google indexes the web. So when you do a search, you actually see what's in their index, and then Google ranks what they find. So we don't want to miss these first couple steps or we're never going to rank. Make sense? This one I only bring up because I'm seeing it on non-WordPress sites. Your whole site should be www or non-www. Bonus points, who knows what it's called when you have non-www? That's a naked URL. Oh yeah. Get Found Madison's rocking the naked URL. Anyway, site speed. Under 3 seconds, this is my recommendation. Google says under 2. Frankly, good luck with that on any major platform. WordPress would be pretty tough. But under 3 is doable. You can use a tool like GTmetrix, which is free. You plug in your URL. It says, here's how fast it loaded. When I bought Splendid Beast, we were up at 8 to 9 seconds. Worked with a technical developer, got it down to under 3 seconds, right? It tells you everything you need to do. It's going to be gobbledygook to you. Hand it to a developer and have them work on those pieces, okay? All right, mobile first. Who does web design in here? Built your own web page? I see a few. Okay. So what is mobile responsive? What does that mean?
Changes the width of the page based on your device.
That's right. So if I'm on desktop, it's nice and big. If I'm using my iPhone, it shrinks it down, and suddenly the images are under each other, paragraphs get realigned. I should never be pinching or scrolling right and left, right? I should just be scrolling up and down on my mobile phone. So that's mobile responsive. Google's saying we now do mobile first. So if you're building websites, you're building for this, and then you're going to go back and make sure it works on this. Make sense? Google's now indexing based on the mobile first side. So it needs to be fantastic. If you ever need to test this, you can do Google's mobile friendly test and see if you're passing that. It's not just enough to be mobile friendly, like it just needs to be amazing. These are the devices now. You guys already know that, okay? Now, secure. When you're on a web page and it's http://website.com, or in most browsers, we're just getting a little info. If you click it, you're like, oh, it's not secure, big whoop, right? If it is secure, Chrome shows you the nice green secure. Up until July, it's not a huge deal, but July 2018, Google is going to be giving preference to secure. So work with your developer and get this set up. You usually need a certificate from the host, wherever your website data is, and you need to do some implementation to get this working. Just want to let you know. All right, redirecting pages if they go bye-bye. Google's crawling your site. By the way, they're doing this every day. You can look in Search Console how many pages you're crawling, how often you're crawling, because it's checking for updates. If you're blogging, it's going to find updates, right? If you're adding new pages, Google needs to find that across the whole web. There are almost 1 billion websites, and there are 1 trillion individual pages. So they've got a lot to crawl, and they've got a lot to index. So they've got to quickly go through, right? And when we're hitting a dead end like this, it just stops, and that's a problem. So always redirect. Anybody ever redone their website? Put a new website up when you had an old one on the same domain? Did you do this? Because your page has probably changed, right? A lot of people come to me after they've put up a new website because they didn't think this through. You should map, here's my old pages, here's my new pages, make sure everything's same. Either you're keeping that same URL, you've got a new content on that page, or you're saying, hey, Google, check over here. And a 301 redirect is the way you do that. You can also check in Google Search Console, and they'll tell you, hey, Splendid Beast, you used to have these paintings. People used to be able to buy these. You got rid of them from your store. What gives? Where do I go now? 404 error is what we do not want. That's not found. If you ever hit a dead end yourself when you're browsing the web, that's what's going on there. All right, we need to get to business listings. So Google My Business for local businesses here. That's what we're talking about. This is really where it's at. At the top, it's for over 90-some% of local searches. We see this, which is the map. There's usually 3 results in it. We see the reviews. We can click to navigate. We can click to call if we're on mobile. We can click to the website, right? So this is where we need to focus our efforts. So if we've not claimed this, if I'm a real estate group and I don't have access to this, that's a problem. So you can say, is this your business? Yes. They'll send you a postcard. You go into business.google.com and you put in that code they give you. They'll send it to you on a paper postcard. Question?
What do you recommend for people who are freelancers and don't have it in actual space?
What if you're a freelancer, you don't have a physical space? So there's a thing in Google called service area businesses. I am a service area business. So I actually tell Google on the back end, yeah, here's my mailing address, but I have a radius of this many miles around Madison where I will serve. So you should still have some physical address where you can collect mail. You don't have to post it here on Google My Business. Yeah.
I actually had a P.O. box, but not P.O. box. It's the actual address. It doesn't say P.O. box on it, and it allows you to bypass that. You have to pay a little bit for UPS store. At the UPS store. Yep. You still have to pay a little bit, but.
All right. That's a good workaround. So she's got a P.O. box through UPS store.
But it's not listed
It doesn't
as a
say
box.
P.O. box on it, so Google allows it. In general, Google will not allow you to send these to P.O. box. That's why I mentioned that. Yeah, good point. Does that answer that piece? Your address doesn't need to be public, but you do need something tied to it. Remember those images we spent all that time renaming and optimizing? We're going to upload them here too. Do you think your competitors are going into business.google.com, verifying this listing, waiting a couple weeks for a postcard, and then uploading images of people in their business, customers, the outside? Do you think they're doing that? It takes some time. So this can really be a differentiator for you, and this is the first thing people see. This is above the other SEO results, so it's worth doing. NAP, name, address, phone number. That is your thumbprint on the web if you're a business. So you need this standard. If you've moved, if you've changed business names, if you've changed your phone number, you've got some cleanup to do because this needs to be immaculate across the web. And we start right here. We make it match the website, we make it match what's in Google My Business, and then we go on down the list, all the others. Once this is all in order, we're going to ask customers for reviews. If they just Google your business name, you should show up and they can review you, assuming they have a Gmail account. Sometimes if you have older clientele or people that are not going to have Gmail, you might think about sending them a video how to do it. You might think about helping them get Gmail. I would say go that far because this is that important. Once you get reviews, you go into business.google.com and you respond to them. By the way, when you're asking customers or clients for reviews, could you prompt them with a few bullet points of things to maybe mention? And if you're an SEO agency like me and they're saying, Eagan did a great job on SEO, blah, blah, he knows stuff about search engine optimization, ranking in Google, blah, 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 does Google then crawl what's in those reviews? Yeah, Google owns it. So mention those and potentially, you should still use natural human language, but if people are using your keywords in your reviews, we know Google's seeing that. And you get to respond and say, thanks so much, glad you had a good experience, Tara, with our SEO services, or whatever it is. Okay? And there's a new post feature, so right here you can give little updates, and when people see you on the maps, they can say, hey, Eagan's got an event at DreamBank here. All right. These are obscure websites called Infogroup, Newstar, Factual, and Axcom. Has anyone ever heard of these? I certainly never had before I got into SEO. Google and Bing supposedly check these to know what information is correct. So here in Madison on State Street, we've got businesses opening and closing all the time on State Street, right? How does Google from California and this automated algorithm know what's open and what's closed? People could tell Google My Business, hey, this isn't here anymore. At some point they do, right? But in general, to say what's the correct address, what's the correct phone number, they need to triangulate, and this is where they check. So you can do this manually. It's not fun at all, especially if you have multiple locations. That's why I recommend using Moz Local. It costs about $100 a year. It'll submit you to the major ones. This is how we're looking for DreamBank, Chris. We got a little work to do, buddy. So you do this scan, and it says, we're not on Infogroup, we're not on Newstar, we're not on Localese, and then you can pay $100 a year to just submit it. So you can do it all at once for $100 a year. I find it worth it. I do it personally for my business. And then We're going to go down the list. We're going to be on Yelp. We're going to be on Yellow Pages. We're going to be on other directories. And that same business address, phone number, website, email, hours, it should all match across the web, right? We're going to delete any duplicates that showed up. Sometimes that gets real messy, especially if you have multiple Google My Business pages. Oh, it's horrible. And then if we changed our phone number, that phone number now needs to be standard all across the web. If we moved, which I'm about to, you got to go through quite a few directories and update that, okay? If you're in Madison, there's a list of top directories, and you really want to be on Yellow Pages, Yelp, Super Pages, this list. This same link down here, you can look at moz.com/learn/local/citations by city, or you can also do citations by category. And these are websites you want to have your business information on, and you get a little link back to your site, that's going to help you. Speaking of links, I'll try to keep moving here so we can have time for questions. How did search engines used to work? First of all, what did you use before there was Google? Anybody? Use the phone? A little bit after that, Tara. What did you search the web with?
Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves. Nice. Other ones would be Alta Vista, Netscape. Nice. You could just say Yahoo, right? Yahoo was the big one, and all of a sudden everybody was using Google. How come? So, Alta Vista, Ask Jeeves, all these other ones, they would scan what's on the page and say, great, this page is about this. So if I suddenly want to rank for pizza in Madison, I'm just going to say pizza Madison, pizza Madison, pizza Madison all over my page. Maybe I'm even going to hide it. Maybe I'm going to have white background and white text so humans don't see it, but this Ask Jeeves is going to see it. So it got really out of hand. And Google took care of all that crap. So this is Larry Page. And he came up with PageRank. And he said, not all websites are created equal. Not all pages are equal. Some are more authoritative than others. Somebody's blog rant over here is not the same as the New York Times over here. Agreed? So the way they figured that out algorithmically, it's actually related to scientific papers. If you have a lot of people citing your scientific study is probably pretty good, right? So that's where they got the idea, and they said, if a lot of people are linking to this site over here, then maybe it's worth something. So all these little purple ones, these are like little blogs that somebody set up yesterday. They're linking to New York Times articles up here. But then here's a respectable one. Here's a Wisconsin State Journal. Here's a Isthmus or whatever this is. They have one little link from New York Times, and suddenly their bubble's blown up, and they have more SEO authority. Make sense? If you get a link from Joe Schmo's blog, it doesn't do a lot for you. But if you get a link from a very reputable website, it does a lot for you. So it's worth working on your PR for this. We'll talk about it. Another study, 2 million search results. The correlation is all that stuff we talked about. Remember the thing about the front door? We do our headers. We do all that stuff Yoast tells us to do. That's this. That's these little correlations that are 0.004 across 2 million results, which means they help you a little. It's basically table stakes. But what really matters is how many websites link to us, how many pages link to us, how many raw links do we have. Now, if you paid $2,500 for a freelancer to build your website, or if you paid a fancy web design company in town $25,000, did either of them do this part? Does it matter how fancy your website is? If this is what Google cares about, you need links from these. Make sense? That's why, as good as your web design company is, they're not going to do this part, and it's not their job anymore, frankly. This is an ongoing thing. So, sorry, did you want one of those?
Yeah.
This one? This is from hrefs. You can Google for 2 million SEO results, and it'll come up.
Okay.
Yep, I've also got the link here. Yep, hrefs.com/blog/onpage SEO. They're actually talking about basically on-page SEO doesn't even come close to off-page SEO on other websites. That's what that means. So how on earth do we get other people to link to us? We don't have control of those websites. We have control of our website. So we start where we do have control. We already talked about business listings. We've got a link from Yelp. We've got a link from Middleton Chamber of Commerce, etc. Wherever we can, we do that. Social media profiles. If I'm a construction company, are my customers on Pinterest?
Heck yeah.
Tara says, heck yeah. What do you guys think? Yeah. Okay, maybe I'm just mistaken. Someone?
For ideas for home remodeling
All right, all right. I was totally
Construction company there.
off-based, and maybe there was an undercurrent of unintended sexism, so I apologize. So, what's a better example? Here's what I find. So I'm working with trades in Madison, and they're asking, do I need to be on Twitter? So if they do roofs, are the people they're trying to reach on Twitter? Okay. So that's kind of the idea. But if you set up a Twitter page, do you get a link to your website? Yeah, on your main page you do for all of these. And those are worth a lot. So start there, go down the list. We're going to be on Instagram, we're going to be on Twitter, whatever we can do. You don't have to be active on there. I'm going to say that. Throw up your logo, throw up a few images. You don't have to check it all the time if that's not part of your strategy, okay? But you should still have those. If we write a guest blog post on In Business Magazine or some other local publication, could we potentially get a little link back in our author bio? Could you work links in? Yeah, question.
Yeah, so for example, like, I was interviewed by someone, so if they post that on their site, then I could connect that and give them back.
Oh yeah, you got interviewed by somebody. Can they link back to me? Yeah, they should. You should do a search for your own brand name in quotes. You can actually do, so there's advanced Google operators, you can say minus my URL, and it'll say, here's everywhere that's mentioning me that's not my website. Go through them and see if anyone's not linking to you. And if people are not linking to you, ask them to link to you. Anytime you're getting mentioned, anytime you're getting press, absolutely. So if you do a guest blog, yeah, question.
Would a good spot to check metrics for link building via in Google Analytics, would it be under acquisition referral? Site?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So how do we check where we're getting links, right? How do we know that? And in Google Analytics, there's a piece where we can see referral traffic, which is people click a link and they come to our site, right? I think that's a lagging indicator because people might be linking to you from this interview you did, and it might take a while for people to click to that, and you won't see it. There are paid tools. We use one called hrefs, which did that study I cited before. They're not cheap in general. They're usually over $100 a month, but you could even maybe do a free trial and do a one-time look. Where are my competitors getting their links? That's a good way to get ideas, right? We do that all the time. And where are my links right now? Someone else needs to scan the web and tell me who's linking to me because I don't have a good way to see that otherwise. Tara.
Set up a Google alert.
And a Google alert should also show you. A Google alert will show you if they mention you or if they're linked to you.
You can put actual quotes around if your name is ever mentioned ever.
So go to alerts.google.com, set up your brand name in quotes, and then you'll know if people are mentioning you, and then you can reach out. These are all great ideas. So guest blog post is one way to do it. You're providing free value for someone else. Hey, I'll write a blog for you, Tara. Is that helpful? Yeah, she doesn't always have time to blog, so I'm going to help her out and write one, and then link back to me. Partners, business associations, vendors, etc. We're going to talk about a way to get links from media, okay? So earned media and PR, my go-to on this is Help a Reporter Out, Harrow, okay? Free tool, you sign up, and you get a digest every day. It's overwhelming. They send way too much stuff. So you need some way to do something with the fire hose. But what I do is I set up alerts, and if someone mentions SEO, AdWords, Facebook ads, things that are pertinent to my business, if I get a new client and they do assisted living, I'm setting up alerts for memory care, dementia care, assisted living, senior care, and then it'll come to my primary inbox. If there's one in here I could respond to, okay? And then I respond, and I write them a decent little thing. If they never use it, this can be the start of a blog post, right? So I said, here are some SEO predictions. I give 3 bullets. Each one's at least a sentence long. And I specifically say, hope this is helpful. Happy to answer questions. Links to our site help us. I let them know. And if they tell me later, hey, we used your quote, I'm going to go and make sure that either my client got linked to or I got linked to. Make sense? Question, Greg?
Eagan, do you put the links in the blurbs that you send out?
Yeah. So I'm writing to the reporter. I could give blue hyperlinks right in here so they don't get mistaken. This is a great way. You're doing them a favor. They need a source. It's a little thing for them to do is to make it a live link to your site. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's talk real quick about blogging. Blogging demonstrates your expertise. It shows search engines you update your site. When you do content marketing, you're giving before you receive, right? You build trust and authority. You show you know your stuff. And it creates opportunities to rank for those other phrases like that law firm that never even thought about the CCAP requirement, something, something. That's where people are finding them. When I dug into Google Analytics, I found out people contacted them from those blog posts. So you never know. And even if people in other states are finding you and they're never going to be your client, Google sees people are spending time on your site, you're answering valuable questions. That's an unproven theory I have, but I rank on page 1 for a number of questions that people ask about digital marketing, and I think it's helping my local SEO. Just a theory. Linkable assets. Once you've got some very good blog posts that are over 2,000 words long, you've got something to take to people. They didn't want to link to your page about how you sell yarn or whatever it is. It's like you do sewing in Madison, whatever. It's like whatever your little service is, that's great, you're a roofer or something, I don't care. But if you've got a resource about here's how you select shingles, here's when you know you should put on a new roof, and it's the best resource on the web, you've got something that Google's going to pay attention to and other people can link to. Let's show how this works. I've got a home page, I've got Yelp linking to me, Facebook's linking to me, I've got Chamber of Commerce linking to me, right? I've got a little service page over here. Hey guys, I do Google AdWords. And then I've got all these blogs over here. Nobody links to this service page. No one cares that I have a Google AdWords service page. No one cares you have a snow removal service page, right? But they do care that you've got the best resource ever on how to select a snowblower or whatever it is. Sometimes it's things that even seem like competitive with what you do. It can still be worth writing about. All right? I'm going to keep moving here. So what do we blog about? Any questions you hear, questions people are asking online. If there's people that are your equivalents in other cities that could benefit from what you found out, you should put it on the blog. I do all the time. Think about you're part of an industry and a community, and you could create a resource for those people, not just for your clients and customers. Detailed how-to guides and resources. We use the same tools, Google Autosuggest, related searches, forums like Reddit. If we're reading a blog and we see comments, people want to know more, that's an idea, right? And then answer the public. Absolutely check this one out. This weird British guy is going to look at you from behind the screen. You're going to put in pest control or whatever it is you do, and it's going to show you all the questions on the web people are asking about this topic. This is going to keep you blogging for the rest of your life, so don't worry about ideas. Not a problem. This is answerthepublic.com. Check it out. I know this works. If you Google for local SEO checklist, we're on page 1. We're kind of varying in terms of which spot we're on this, but we're getting traffic from this, I can tell you. Also, I noticed, Chris, DreamBank is on here too. Your local SEO checklist, Dream Fearlessly. I wonder where they got all that great information.